Welcome to another episode of Challenging the Norm. Here's and hers look at life and business with your hosts, Paul Snell and myself, Lindsay Burden. The podcast for solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and business owners that want to experience success in their own way. Wrestling with the topics that matter and reality checking the latest trends in business. Paul works with business owners, showing them how they can take the stress out of transforming teams into performance powerhouses that love what they do, while I offer business coaching that empowers ambitious women in business to create financial abundance and a time-rich lifestyle without sacrificing their joy. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where anyone's listening. But hello, Paul. How are you and how has your week been?
It's been marvelous, thanks, Lindsay. It's been, we had some lovely weather at the weekend. So it's outside, love being outside, raring to go. Weather's not quite so good today, but look, we're doing a podcast. What more could I want?
What more? And I love the way that I went, hello, good evening, and good day and everything else, because I'm not sure where anyone's listening, which kind of leads me nicely on to the topic I want us to cover today. And I want us to look at the concept, the idea of being visible. And I want to know, is it easier for men or women? And this has come about because I've been getting a little bit angry at the TV lately. So let's go, taking it back to the very basics of being visible. And I was thinking about when I was in the workforce and going to work. Basically, a man can rock up at work day in, day out. And as long as he puts on a different tie occasionally, we're never ever going to notice, possibly won't care. I won't know whether he's got new shoes, old shoes, or the color of his shoes. It really won't matter. Suited and booted, put a different tie on, change the colour of your shirt, visible, there, done. Us women, whole different ball game. Is our hair right? Have we got the right lipstick? Have we worn this top? We go through these emotions and it takes so much more time and energy to be ready, to be visible. So when we put this into a business context, I think it's easier for men to be visible just from that kind of what you look like than it is for women. And it's really got my goat this week.
I don't think you're wrong. I think let's start with at least, I'm going to acquiesce on that point and go, you're not wrong, right? But here's the thing. Here's my challenge with that. My challenge with that is, in the world of business that we are now in, and we'll focus on business, but you can apply this to general life if you like, is largely a world of social media.
Yeah.
Whether we like that or not, that's just a reality. And here's my challenge, because certainly from my perspective as a man, I can't help but feel there are times where women use that beauty, because you just mentioned about getting yourself ready, and I recognize all of that. And I'm going to say, all of you do a marvelous job, just in case anyone's listening. The reality to it is, this concept of beauty sells, and that's going to sound dreadful, but let me perhaps explain what I mean. All too often, in fact, all the time, social media is about grabbing attention, right? That's what the algorithms want to do, is grab attention.
Yeah.
And whether we like it or not, males and females are drawn to beauty. And whether it's intentional or not, because sometimes it isn't, I find myself going through a social media feed and finding that photographs of beautiful women tend to have a lot more attention, tend to get more screen time, because come on, we're back to that the algorithms want your attention.
Yeah.
So there seems to be this odd preference to, if you're beautiful and you're a woman at this point in the conversation, you're going to get more recognition or more attention. Probably attention is probably the right word. And my challenge because we're talking about visibility, is that attention, when that attention is deemed as, but I don't want that attention. I want people to like me, or to people appreciate how good I am at something, not just how I look. I understand that, but it's human nature that looks for beauty, whether we like it or not. And that's a challenge for me.
I know, and I started this episode off really flippantly. But actually, if you look as a business owner, as a female business owner, you might be going, okay, I need to do more video.
Mm,
But immediately you're thinking about how you look. You're not thinking about the content that you're delivering. You're not even connecting with the person that you want to resonate with. It's how you look. And that's in part, I believe, through fear, because we don't want to be judged. We don't want to be called out or said we look X, Y, and Z. I mean, there's a recent BBC presenter who was called out on X, formerly known as Twitter, for a hairstyle. I'm serious, people. She just had a baby. Get over it.
mm,
So I think as women, we feel that. As a woman of age, I really struggle with, I am never going to be able to compete with these youngsters because my skin, no, I don't think my skin ever looked like that. It's not, I can't compete. And I'm really struggling with this. How are we supposed to show up authentically,
mm,
with ease and confidence,
mm,
and bring our own natural beauty to the
mm,
party if we're competing with this, I don't want to say fake world,
mm,
but there is a filter for everything.
mm,
And I think that has a real negative impact on female business owners
mm.
in our confidence, in ourselves, in our ability, and therefore our ability to promote our businesses.
Okay, all fair point, and all I can't actually answer for you. But I have another question that sort of wraps around that, and we can pull that apart in during the course of this episode. But another thing that stands out for me, at the risk of being condemned, is the apparent, it wasn't my intention to get attention. It wasn't. And look, I said to you before we started this episode, Lindsay, I'm not going to sound like a prude, right? But if you're going to rock up and do a photo, whatever it is, let's call it a photo, right? Let's
Yeah.
just call it a photo, because they're two-dimensional. And we're humans, and we judge whether we like it or not. We're going to
Yeah,
judge,
I agree.
and we can only judge on what we see. The first and foremost, if we're able to see, that's how we judge first and foremost. So if I see a photo of a beautiful woman, you can define what beauty means. It doesn't matter. We'll call it a beautiful woman for now. And they're wearing clothes that highlight that beauty, etc., etc. And then turn around and go, but it's not how I look. You talk about authenticity. I start to struggle with that. If it's truly authentic, why the need? Or is it? So I know you're desperate to jump in, but one more thing: is it intentional? Is it their intention to do that, or do you think it could be just not intentional? It could just be
Mm.
simple.
I think there are lots of things hitting me here. And do you know what? The whole time I'm thinking, I really don't want to offend anyone. We don't want to
No,
offend.
no.
But actually, we wanted to have, better discussions about this
Mm,
difference. Now, those sort of photos that you're talking about, I think if you've had to say at the bottom, I should be able to do X, Y, and Z and not be judged, then it is intentional.
yeah.
But what the intention was, we may or may not know. And I absolutely agree that as women, and I know you will as well, Paul, we should be able to wear, behave in any way that we feel is right for us and not be judged, not find ourselves with unwanted attention, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
Yes, I think we'd all love a world where that's the same for men, women, and everyone. We would love that, but we don't have that world. I also wonder, though, Paul, if you and I, you know, the other side of 50, whether we look at it differently, because we see it through our eyes and the life that we have led and our upbringing and the world. Where if I look, and I hate to say this publicly, my daughter's school skirt is as short, as short, as short, as is all her friends, and they see that as normal.